So today I'm showing you Nazaré Beach. It's a very famous beach in Portugal because it is where they do the surfing championship most of the times. And they have a very unique and great tidal waves where you can really do a great surf. So Nazaré is a fascinating place, steeped in history, but sadly overwhelmed by tourism. Very crowded in summer, with a sprawl of holiday apartment buildings obscuring much of the town's former unique atmosphere. This is a crowded, raucous beach resort with all the hustle, bustle, and hustle that goes with it. Formerly known for the traditional costumes worn by fishermen and their wives, old women can still be seen standing on the street corners in traditional headscarves and aprons, although they are now more likely to be selling tourists accommodation than fish. The beach itself is not an ideal companion to such a resort either, known by surfers as Portugal's big wave spot, 6 to 100 feet. More than that, a long finger of deep water points to Nazaré, allowing swells to hit virtually unchecked. The potentially hazardous consequence of this geographical oddity means that boarders must be tightly squeezed onto the patrolled main beach, which leads to even greater overcrowding. The main beach is also the place where locals are wont to dry their fish, giving rise to a deeply unpleasant smell. Take the funicular 100 meters up the sheer rock face behind the main town, however, and some respite is available. O Sitio, the old town, is perched on top of a headland, a location that is historically enabled Nazaré to protect itself from frequent attacks. From here, you can walk north along a stretch of quite exposed sand, pounded by Atlantic and popular with line fishermen. Okay, so if you want to go for Nazaré, there are some guides. Possibly the most famous fishing town in Portugal. Nazaré is unique in many ways. It doesn't contain the architectural treasures or grandiose monuments prevalent in other Portuguese towns, but it has an atmosphere of times gone by. I can also read something about Nazaré Beach. Okay, the Nazaré Beach is a neighborhood by the sea, one of the most traditional villages Portuguese fishing in Nazaré. So this is about Nazaré tourism. So do you want to see the big waves of Nazaré live? The most recent attraction of Nazaré, Portugal, the giant waves, are both exclusive and uncertain. Well, the big waves are not always there. They depend on the storms on the high seas that bring the waves. The frequency of the large waves in Nazaré is very different from the Niagara Falls, or for example, another spectacular place to observe nature daily for much of the year. To see the big waves of Nazaré, go when? How much time? Par excellence, the big wave season in Nazaré in Portugal is between October and March. Winter season, but September and April also work in some years. This is the best time to see the big waves in Nazaré. Who needs to book the trip in advance to ensure that they catch at least one day of giant waves? It is advisable to stay at least 2 weeks in the region. For more guarantees, you must stay 3 weeks. In the months mentioned above, there are usually between 1 and 6 major swells. For more statistics, see news history from the previous years. Even so, there is no guarantee that it will get a good day, but the probability is great. Another option for those who have more availability is to travel as soon as there is a good forecast. Forecasts only anticipate a maximum of 1 week, and the more days, the less certain the forecast is. You can check the predictions here. So I will copy paste these informations in the description below in my video for you to see this very nice tourist spot in Portugal. The swell has to be more than 3 meters and the wave period is longer than 13 seconds and the wind is a little offshore and north is good. Usually, the Canyon, the Nazare or giant wave generator, greatly amplifies the size of the waves in the forecast and can generate waves up to 30 meters high. Big wave alerts in Nazare. The NazareWaves.com website notifies you when there are good forecasts for big waves in Nazare. Follow it frequently and subscribe to notifications using your browser to receive alerts. Okay, more. When to catch the giant waves of Nazare. The giant waves occur at Praia do Norte in Nazare. It means the northern part of this beach. The best place to observe is at Nazaré near the lighthouse, or in Portuguese is Forte de São Miguel Arcanjo on the north side. You can also go down to the sand on the beach to see another perspective through a dirt path, but be very careful by the sea, it is dangerous. Be aware. Usually there are always surfers present and there are more and more coming from all over the world. Many already spend the season of the big waves in Nazare, so if there are waves they will surf, which is also good for tourists because you can get a better idea of the size of the waves. The nearest airport to Nazare is Lisbon Airport in Portugal and also in Porto. You can also land there. When does the annual big wave surf event take place? WSL Nazare Challenge World Surf League Big Wave Tour. The next date for the WSL Nazare Tour Challenge event will be a day between November 1, 2020 and 31 March 2021. So it is currently ongoing. Waiting period winter in Portugal. So it's almost coming. It's approaching actually. The day of the event will be confirmed 48 hours in advance, but this possibility could be announced a week in advance. Follow our website, blah blah blah. Okay. Que mais? More information about tourism in Nazare. Nazare increasingly sought after by the surfers, photographers, and tourists from all over the world. Yes, it is true. Okay, the summary to visit Nazare, useful information for tourists. Number one is the biggest waves in the world hit the coast in Nazare and Portugal between October and March. It doesn't happen every day. Yes, when I did this video, there's no waves, but it is a strong wind and it's scary. Number two, it is not possible to know more than a week in advance the wave forecast and the forecast may fail. But actually, this is not my favorite. You can also visit the Douro River, which is my favorite part of Portugal, which is in northern part of Portugal, and nearby Porto, where they produce a lot of wines. So you can see like the Banaue rice terraces. I can say okay. Ito yung Nazareth tungkol sa mabuting impormasyon paano makakuha ng mga puntong gallery o galeriya ng mga gumagamit. Okay, lugar is sa Nazare, Portugal, Sebastião de Fonseca. Okay. Ang Nazare Beach na may banayad na klima at natural na kagandahan ay may isa sa pinakalumang tradisyon sa Portugal na nakalink sa mga sining sa pangingisda. Ang mahaba, hugis, kasuklay na mabubuhanging beach na kung saan ay sa tabi ng dagat ng lungsod ay kilala sa kadakilaan nito at mga maliliwanag na kulay na may mga awning na pinalamutian. Ang puting buhangin na beach na kakaiba sa asul na tubig. Ito ang beach sa Portugal kung saan ang mga tradisyon ng pangingisda ay mas makulay at hindi bihirang makikilala ang mga nagtitinda ng isda na nakasuot pa rin ng pitong palda tulad ng idinidikta ng tradisyon. Sa isang Sabado ng hapon sa mga buwan na tag-init, napakahalagang umupo sa dingding habang pinapanood ang kagiliw-gilaw na palabas ng arte Shavega kung saan ang mga lambat na kargado ng mga isda ay nagmula sa dagat at ang mga kababaihan ay sumigaw ng kanilang mga sesyon sa pangangalakal. Kung hindi natin eksaktong maintindihan ang mga salita, wala itong dapat alalahanin. Ang mga ito ay mga code na madalas ay sila lamang ang nakakaalam. Nakaharap sa dagat sa kanang bahagi, nakakita kami ng isang kahangahangang promontory. Ito ang site kung saan mayroon kaming isa sa mga pinakakilalang panoramic view ng Portuguese na baybayin. Mayroong 318 metro ng bato na nahuhulog sa dagat na maabot ang paglalakad para sa pinakamatapang o pag-akyat sa elevator. Sa tuktok, nakita namin ang maliit na Hermitage of Memory na nagsasabi sa alamat ng himalang ginawa sa pamamagitan ng pagpigil sa kabayo ng isang maharlika na si Don Fuas Rupino mula sa paglukso ng bangin. Okay, mula sa sitio ito ay may oras para isa-isang lakad. Pagtawid sa Parque de Pedralva, nakarating sa Pedernera, isang natural na pananaw na may hindi ka nais-nais na tanawin sa baybayin ng Nazare. Sa kasalukuyan, ang dakilang akit ng lungsod na ito ay ang mga alon at surfs. Salamat sa Canyon de Nazare, isang pangyayaring geomorphological sa ilalim ng dagat na nagpapahintulot sa pagbuo ng mga higante at perpektong mga alon. Ito ang pinakamalaking nakalubog ng bangin sa Europa na may halos 170 na kilometro sa baybayin na umaabot sa 5,000 metro ang lalim. Ang surfer ng Hawaii na si Garrett McNamara ay nagbigay sa kanya ng kakayahang makita sa buong mundo ng noong 2011. Ginawa niya ang pinakamalaking alon sa buong mundo sa isang mabuhanging ilalim na may halos 30 metro sa Praia do Norte na nagwagi sa bilabong Global Big Wave Awards at sinira ng isang record ng Guinness Book. Tulad niya, ang mga surfers mula sa buong mundo ay bumibisita sa Nazare bawat taon upang makipagsapalaran sa dagat, lalo na sa panahon ng taglamig. Sa pagitan ng Nobyembre at Marso, ang pinakamalaking alon ay matyagang naghinihintay sa mahabang yugto ng kampyonato ng mga higanting alon sa mundo, ang Nazare Toe Surfing Challenge. Sa dalampasigan, ang pagsumba ay pinahahalagahan din at isang mahusay na madla upang pahalagahan ang mga nagawa ng mga kabataang ito. Upang makilala si Nazare, isang nakaka-relax na paglalakad sa makitid na mga kalye, patayo sa tabing dagat at pagpahinga sa isang mga restaurant upang tangkilikin ang isang ulam ng sariwang pagkain dagat, inihaw na isda o isang nakakaganyak na nilaga. At sa gabi, walang kagaya sa paglulubog ng araw sa anumang teresa na tinatanaw ang dagat habang ang mga ilaw ay nagsisindi at dumidilim. Okay, naku, hihirapan ako magtagalog ba? So, ayun po, napakagandang impormasyon tungkol sa Nazare Beach. Kaya siya naging famous dahil meron siyang pinakamalaking alon sa buong Europa. So, dito ginaganap mostly ang surf champion. Sana makapunta dito si Andy Eigenman. So, yun lamang. Thank you so much.